All right, we're
Welcome,
live.
Black and Tan, 0.0075% faster, episode 3030. Donald
30.
Ellis, Donald and Ellis, right? That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a
It's a
lot,
lot.
dude. Yeah, I do also want to say that we are also live on DMV MTB. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Black and Tan, 0.75 faster. We're going to reach both communities today. So I'm in your channel and you guys are in my channel.
Ooh, that sounds saucy.
So,
Are we gonna get demonetized for saying that kind of stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Not well, if we do, it's not like it's going to matter, right? Like we're getting.
We're not making any money yet anyway.
no.
Nothing from nothing is nothing.
So it's not like we're losing a lot, right?
Elvis, can we talk about the elephant in the room to start out with?
The elephant in the room, she's upstairs.
Ooh, she's not watching.
She's
No.
not watching. No.
No, I'm talking about the fitted shirt that somebody might be wearing in the group of three here.
Oh,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
flexing.
I don't know what
See,
you guys are talking about.
I saw you
All
today
right,
at the
so-
shop, and I was wondering, he's not wearing a Patasco shirt. What's up with this shirt? I was like, can I see
No.
the tag?
It's just like a nice shirt that my father-in-law got me for Christmas. He was told by my wife that I need to have shirts that weren't so baggy but longer. I need long shirts. If I'm going to wear my pants not on my hip, you got to have these long t-shirts. So it's kind of like offensive at times, if I'm bending over and grabbing stuff and I'm like, look like a plumber versus a bike mechanic. So it's like, I had to get the long tee. So I got this nice long tee. It goes all the way down. It's perfect. Nice and flexy. It stretches really good. Really comfortable. So I'm trying them out for the first time.
Doesn't look very aero though, so but
It's
nice.
not tight enough for aero. It's aero. Aero is everything.
Did anybody today ask you whether you've been working out, or you just put that on for the podcast today?
No. I've had it on all day. I'm not gonna lie. I unlike you, Paul. I don't go in the hair and makeup right before the the podcast.
Wait, we should be doing that?
You didn't know that? You didn't know that, Elvis?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Listen.
Paul Belly.
It just doesn't wake up like this, Elvis.
It's not
It doesn't
natural.
wake up.
It's not
That's
the
not
Miami
natural.
the Miami weather doesn't do that to you, right? It's you have to put some work.
I do have a little more color in my face, but yeah.
So, Paul, this week's been pretty cool for me and Elvis. We got new bike day going on.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're I gotta tell you, I've had all three of Specialized's gravel bikes, right? Now, so I've started off with actually literally this week last year, I started off with a Crux. And that was when we were training for the Appalachian Journey of a race. So I started riding a Crux because I thought I needed to have as light of a bike as possible. If I'm going to be doing 11,000 feet of climbing on gravel, I want to play towards my handicaps or whatever. So I had the Crux. I sold the Crux and went to a Diverge STR, basically the full suspension Diverge. And now I'm on their latest iteration into their their gravel is their Roubaix. So it is a Specialized Roubaix SL8. So they have on all ends of the spectrum, they have a cross bike that can ride gravel, a true dedicated gravel bike, and then they have a road bike that can go gravel as well. And I'm going to try to shove some of these in there. So it doesn't come with black and tan tires. So me and Elvis, we took care of that. We're going to put some of these on it.
Oh, I
What's
was
the
gonna
spacing?
say,
Donald, what's the spacing in the forks?
So it says that it can take a 40.
Oh, wow.
These are 42s. I'm pretty sure if they list that it can take a 40, I'm pretty sure I can sneak a 42 in there. We'll
So you
find
think
out.
we can? You think we can go even higher?
Yeah, these are 42s.
I think his shirt might be too tight, Elvis.
I think so. Someone, since we were back on that subject, someone said, you couldn't get a tighter shirt, bro.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
trust me, I could get a tighter shirt. Can you see me flex my pecs when I do this?
100%.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
that might get us demonetized.
That's where we draw the line, right? So
Here's the bike.
There it is.
That's it. So, man, I tell you what, I was really surprised because I've had a Roubaix before, and I wasn't so. I mean, it was a great bike. Don't get me wrong; it was great for a road, but it wasn't as fast as a bike that I normally like to ride. Like I'm more of a tarmac guy, and once you start riding those really fast, like crit bikes, and you try to go to something that's more comfortable, like something that's more of an endurance bike, you feel the difference for sure. Like you're not gonna, if you like the speed of a crit bike, like a tarmac, like a Super 6 Evo or something like that, and you go to the endurance bike, you're going to be a little disappointed as far as the speed. You might be happy that you got a more comfortable bike, but there's a noticeable difference between the two. So when I had my old Roubaix and I went to the tarmac, I was like, I'm never going back to a Roubaix again because of the speed advantage that I've got. But taking the Roubaix and now turning it into a light gravel bike, it's actually really fast for a gravel bike. And being able to put these 42s, I'm hoping to put these 42s in there. We'll find out tomorrow. Putting these 40s or 42s in there, I think it's a game changer as far as how the bike feels. It rode fine with, I think I have 32s in there now. It rode fine with 32s, but I think it's going to be really good with a bigger tire.
Have you taken it on gravel?
I have. We did this Saturday. We rode me, Mark Frazier, and some other guys. We rode from Georgetown up to to Great Falls, and then it was pretty muddy. The first 5 miles, it was a pain. It's a lot of mud. Not mud, more just puddles. Thank goodness they weren't really muddy. It was more just like we weren't covered with mud. We were just getting wet. So first 5 miles was pretty nasty, and then it cleared up and it was really good from, then all the way to Great Falls. But we still decided to jump on the road and ride the road back to Georgetown. It's a good ride, really good ride. Some good people to ride with.
And
So you're saying
you like the Roubaix? You did well. Everything was cool.
Yeah, it's weird because, like I said, I thought that it looks almost identical to the old Roubaix, to be honest with you.
It does,
But
yeah.
it looks like the old Roubaix with just a lot more tire clearance. The back triangle, if you look at the back triangle in that picture that Elvis put up, if you look at the back triangle, you'll see the back triangles. Basically, what they've been doing with a lot of their bikes is taking the design elements from the Athos and how light the Athos is. And most of the rear triangles on their new road bikes are basically the same triangle that comes on the Athos. So I think that's the one.
And where's the shock? Or is just they built in more compliance with that new triangle?
No, so the shock in the rear is actually in the seat post. So that seat post is just like the old Roubaix. It still has a lot of flex in it. It's designed to have flex because of so much give backwards and forwards. It has a lot of flex. We chose to go one bike size down to give us even more seat post in order to get that, to utilize that flex and that give to make the ride a little more supple.
And also add a 0.75 faster.
Yeah.
Like going smaller.
Yeah. We added a couple points in there.
We might be 100 now.
What do you think?
Do you think Once we had those, yeah. So like the reason why what I went with the Roubaix, also by your recommendation, is because I felt like, yes, I was road biking, but at the same time, like I was more moving towards gravel. So I feel like this bike won't be for someone that it's like a full road person, right? Like someone that goes with the that goes out with the guys on Saturdays and they're just trying to get like 21, 22 miles per hour average on a ride. This
Yeah,
won't
no,
be the
it's
bike for that person. Yeah.
not. But I think the cool thing is compared to like taking a crux and riding a crux and putting road tires on your crux, I think this is still going to be faster on the road with road tires on it than a crux would be on the road. So
You
if
think
you
so?
had, yeah, I really do. I really do. And I feel like out of all their road bikes that they're saying, all their bikes that they're saying are also good for gravel or their gravel bikes, this is going to be the fastest bike that you can get from Specialized if you're going to stick to, if you're going to do primarily road and you want to do a little gravel. This is absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Or I think another good place for this bike is the people that want to do like waffles.
BWR. Yeah, I was just saying they made this for the
Perfect.
BWR, didn't they? The Belgian
Perfect.
waffle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where this bike is really going to shine. Um, you have the Diverge, which could be their race bike, but the Diverge is more their adventure bike, right? So it comes with a lot of gadgets that you're not going to use in that type of racing scenario. Um, it has a down tube storage box that you just, I mean, if you're racing BWR or something like that, you're just not going to take time to open that box up, get in there, get all your stuff out and stuff like that. Everything you're doing on the fly. So,
What's for those that don't know, I don't know what's BWR.
Belgian waffle ride. So originally California, but it's probably a gravel race that ends up being maybe 40% road, so that you still need a road capable bike.
Got you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's how many miles are they, Paul?
They're usually 100, sometimes longer. Depends. So they've got the asphalt one now, right? They have still California. Where else do they have? Arizona. They have an Arizona BWR. I think if we look it up, there's more than one site now that has it. But they say the format, the asphalt one has a little more dirt in it than I think California did, but it's still a lot. It's a lot of riding and it's a lot of fast riding.
That's on my bucket list to do that one, the California one. Mostly because I've ridden a lot of the trails that they ride around this lake called Lake Hodges, and they go up Bandy Canyon, which is some of my old stomping grounds where I used to ride a lot when I was in San Diego. So watching the race, I always watch the race, and whenever they get to that area, I feel really nostalgic. So I really want.
Are you out on the Diverge now? Are you?
I am 100% on the Roubaix.
All right.
And I'm going to hold on to this one for a little while. I honestly think it's
6 months.
I feel like when he says stuff like that, we're getting hit by lightning when he says stuff like that.
Right.
So, what's a while for Donald?
What's a while for me? I think,
Yes.
come on, I'm not as bad as other people we know, right? But I mean, I've been holding on to bikes way before COVID. I was getting rid of bikes, I'd say every 10 to 12 months for sure. At the 8-month mark, I would start looking for someone to buy my bike, and it would normally take a month or two to actually sell it. So I'd say about 8 to 12 months is what I was going through my bikes. And in the industry, it just makes sense for us to do that, right? We want to get on the freshest, latest stuff anyway. We want to be able to talk and sell bikes based off of our riding experience. So a lot of times it just makes sense for us to get on a fresh bike before we wear out or mess the other one up to the point where we're just not going to get top dollar for it. So flipping the bikes really fast so you make sure it's fresh to the person that you're selling it is really important so you can like I said, get top dollar. So now with lately, I've been on bikes for about a year and a half, almost 2 years on some. I mean, it was hard to get bikes for one, even for bike shop guys. It was hard to get them. So a lot of times we couldn't just flip them like we wanted, because you sell your old bike, that's bird in hand. You sell your old bike, you weren't getting a new one for a while. So if you really wanted to ride, you needed to hold on to those bikes a little longer.
Roubaix it is.
Roubaix.
I
got to let you ride it, Paul, because I'm curious to see what you would think, what you think. So the particular bike that I have is called the Specialized Roubaix Pro. And the cool thing about a lot of stuff that comes with like Specialized and a lot of these bikes now, so this bike pretty much comes dialed in. I don't really have to do anything.
It's SRAM.
It's full SRAM Force, the new Force.
Okay.
It comes with a cork power meter, carbon wheels already, carbon bars already. Like realistically, you don't really need too much more than that. What
did it weigh when you built it? Did you weigh?
17 pounds.
And as a 56 without pedals?
56 without pedals, 17 pounds.
That's good.
Yeah. Elvis, on the other hand, hey Elvis, why don't you put your bike up on the screen?
Keep going on your bike. Let me download my picture.
Okay. So, like I said, I am running a double on mine, but I don't know why SRAM did this. They put their power meters in with their chain rings. So once you wear out your chain ring, or you want to change your chain ring size, you can't just quickly buy another chain ring or do anything else. You have to send it back to them, and I hate to say it, I'm a SRAM guy, but that's the stupidest thing ever. Like, give me a separate ring
to make their money.
I don't know what they're doing on it. I don't know if they're going to make money or lose money on it. But the fact that the power meter is integrated in with the chain rings drives me crazy. So I want to run a one buy setup on it and still utilize my power meter, but I'm stuck with this gear range, which is actually like the lower one, the 5034 or 5032 or whatever it is. It's the smaller one out of SRAM. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get my power meter on without wasting a lot of money. I'll probably end up running the 2x setup that I haven't run 2x on any of my bikes in the last 4 years. Even my road bike it's 1x. I'm really used to that setup and that style of riding. So we'll see how it goes.
Elvis, I'm sorry. He should have asked whether everybody knew about your bike before he throws that out into public knowledge. I'm assuming no one's beating down the staircase right now to come get you. So I think you're safe, but just show us your new bike.
I'm trying to figure out why I can't. Let me get into Specialized. So Donald, we said all the amazing things that you like about the Roubaix. What is one thing that you don't like about it, aside from the chain ring?
See, but I'm not even going to put that on Specialized, right? So that's a SRAM thing. One of the big things that I try to talk to people about in the industry, and when they come in, customers come in, they'll dislike a bike brand because of the components that come on that bike brand. When it's not the bike brand. If you don't like SRAM, and that particular bike comes with SRAM, you still don't like SRAM. It's not the bike. How did the bike ride? Now, I get it that, you can dislike a certain model of bike because it only comes in SRAM or it only comes in Shimano. But I think you missed the big picture when you say, I don't like that bike because it has a SRAM chainring on it. Like, you may be really doing yourself not a disservice, because picking that based on SRAM or Shimano, you could really be uh, taking a platform that's really good for you and getting it out of the picture, I guess. But yeah, so I love the bike. The thing, I don't know. I haven't found, it's crazy. I haven't found one thing that I don't like about it yet.
Really?
No, really haven't. Like,
There's there's one thing that I don't like about mine.
Here we go.
What don't you like?
I wish they made it like the full SLA with integrated cables.
What? What? Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I got you. I was thinking that you were talking. I was thinking that you were saying that you would hope that it had like regular shifting cables or whatever. But what you're looking at is you don't like the fact that the cables are showing up front.
For a 2024 bike?
I think that they were having a problem with that because of the shock. There's already a lot of stuff inside that head tube, and movement and rubbing those brake cables could have possibly be a problem.
We have a question real quick. What's the big difference? And this is your territory. The big difference between both bikes, and I can
both clarify that question on which two bikes. But Donald, talk about the difference between the Diverge and the Roubaix, and then we'll start there. But I think it's a different question.
Okay, so the difference between the Diverge and the Roubaix, the Diverge is more classified as like their adventure bike. You're going to see it has a lot of braze-ons. You can put panniers on it. Panniers are the bags that hang off the side of the bike so you can go packing. The frame is more robust. It took a wider tire than the old Roubaix. The new one, it's about the same as the Roubaix, if not a little more it's the same as the Diverge. And the Roubaix might even have a little more tire clearance than the current.
Really? I thought the Diverge took a 52, didn't it?
It might. If it does, then it does have a bigger tire clearance.
Mine does. Mine will take up to 52.
Then it does. It does have a bigger tire clearance. See, I don't know everything. I can't remember all the stats. but yeah. So that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is one is more of an adventure bike that you can do anything on. You can race on it. You can ride on it. You can go bike packing on it. It does everything, and that's the Diverge. The Roubaix is going to be more of the road bike. They're still calling it a road bike that you can do light gravel with. The Diverge is their gravel bike, period. And then the Crux is their gravel bike that you can do cross racing with. So they're trying to hit everything and have a bunch of bikes that are all encompassing. So you can pick between the three. If you're on this side of the spectrum and you're doing more road, you want to pick the Roubaix. If you're doing more gravel, for sure, pick the Diverge. If you're doing gravel and racing like cross, then you want to go ahead and get the Crux.
Let me ask a question. We may not know the answer, but it's something to think about. If you continue to make bikes with wider tire clearance, does it affect your aerodynamic performance of the bike?
For sure.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
Otherwise, you would make the SL8 that could take 52s. Why not? If it didn't affect, but it does affect aerodynamics. Yeah. So sticking a wider tire in there on a wider, like I'm thinking about even the Crux for cross racing, there's so much clearance it has to affect aerodynamic performance. And there's still some aerodynamic benefits even in a cross race. You can get fast enough that, it's there. But
right. Yeah, I mean, eventually it can only go so wide before it affects. Well, the tire that you put in is going to start to affect the aerodynamics more so than the bike itself. You can make a bike hold a very wide tire and it won't affect the aerodynamics. As a matter of fact, there's a bike made by a company called Lotus, the same car company that people know. If you look at that bike in the front forks, they're like 4 inches away from the tire on each side. I mean, it's huge. And that's one of the most aerodynamic bikes out. So the clearance around the tire is not what's going to cause you not to have aerodynamics. It's the tire itself. Once you get past a certain point, that's going to start to slow you down, not only by weight, but also by the way it pushes through the wind.
Mhm. Mhm.
Someone asked on Instagram, does the future stem integration? I guess if it's an integrated handlebars, it's not, right? It's like it's on the fork.
No. So the future shock it's actually a cartridge, and the cartridge comes out. It's about I'd say about 6 inches long or so. It comes out and it goes into the fork, kind of like a seat post. So it slides into the fork like a seat post, and just like the seat post, it has its own little clamp that tightens around the cartridge. So that cartridge can come out and be replaced or whatever else, but it's not part of the fork. It's its own separate thing that goes into the fork.
When are you going to take it down some real tough gravel to give it a true test? C-Note now.
I was about to say, are we talking Paul Lavelli gravel?
Yeah.
Or are we talking? I don't know if I'm going on Paul Lavelli gravel anymore. I think that when you took me, into Patapsco with the cross bikes, Paul, that's about as scary as I want to get anytime soon. And this is coming from a guy who I'm planning a trip to Moab, riding mountain bikes in Moab. And I promise you, riding cross bikes in Patapsco State Park was a lot more scary than riding mountain bikes in Moab.
Really?
I used to take my Crocs. I used to take my Crocs on like a single trek around here, the house. It was a rough ride. I did like 30 miles one time. Dude, my arms by the end of the day were just destroyed on a rigid fork.
Not with your new Roubaix. Not with the new shock.
Not with the new shock.
Right?
The cool thing about the shock is that it has like you can replace the spring that comes inside, and it has different. It's not travel, but it's more like tension, right?
Yeah. So you're stock. It comes with 3 different spring compressions, different levels of compression. So the first one it comes with the one in the middle set up already. Then you can get softer and you can get more stiff. And then on top of it, once you get to the pro level in the Roubaix, I believe, is where it starts to where you can actually dial in the compression. So we have also a little knob on top of ours that allows us to dial it and make it stiff or lock it out.
My Diverge has that. Yeah.
Yep. So
Elvis, you got the same bike, Elvis? The same setup? Everything's the same or no?
Everything's the same. Yep.
Mm-hmm. No, he's as the young guys would say, that's a cap.
That's a cap.
Let me tell you. Elvis,
it's not just a new shirt, Elvis. It's not just a new shirt. He's gone.
It's just, hey, Paul, it's just a bike. You know, it was cheaper than the other one. I sold it, and I was able to afford this one. So it was the same price.
My bike retails for $8,000. Elvis's bike retails for $14,000. They're not the same bikes. and I'm going to tell you now, if they are the same bike, someone got ripped off. All right. So Elvis has an S-Works bike.
Maybe he could talk about his bike.
Yeah,
and you could call out all the perhaps inaccuracies or
all the exhibits.
Right.
So is it fair to say, Elvis, it has a better, maybe more upgrade than Force? Is it still Force?
Let me tell you everything here. That's what I'm riding. I haven't even. We had it for what? For a week and a half now.
Dude, I don't know how you haven't gone out and rode that bike
and still doesn't have pedals. Well, we don't have Miami weather.
I got my bike the same day you got yours. We did an unboxing together.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at a lot of Elvis riding around on Instagram posts. So I don't know what is that all historical data? Is that what we're saying?
They're TVTs.
I see.
Dude, I'm really excited. I told Donald, Paul, that this was my first time getting a bike. I don't know if you saw the live, but this is my first time getting a brand new 0 miles bike. All the bikes that I have for the past 10 10 years have been used. Bought them secondhand. So this was the first time that I was doing an unboxing for like my bike. And I'm really excited about this bike. I haven't even ridden it yet, but Donald is saying all these amazing things, which for me, it's like the perfect bike. It's like what I've been doing for like the past 5 years, which is endurance riding. And I think this is gonna fit like right there, doing maybe an endurance road ride or an endurance gravel ride. So I'm definitely gonna put it to the test this year. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
We don't have to talk about the pedals, but let's talk about the rest of it. You got. It looks like it's red. Is that red on there?
Yeah, it's full SRAM red. Basically has the same components that the one that Donald has, like as far as SRAM. It has Rovo wheels. These are the Terra. What are they called, Donald? CX.
So, all right, I'm going to take over since he's avoiding saying what you want him to say.
No, I knew this would happen. I just had to let it happen. That's all.
So on my bike is basically one level in every way, minus the seat post and the
handlebars.
Is it the same carbon? It's a different carbon too.
No, different carbons.
Oh, the frame, yeah.
Yeah, so he has a carbon which Specialized does their carbons in different levels, and they call it FACT levels. So a low FACT level would be like 9. So your entry level carbon bike from Specialized would be like a 9. Mine is a 10, a FACT 10 frame. His
is it a 10? Confirm?
I looked at it the other day. It's not an 11. I thought it was an 11.
Really?
It's a 10. Yours is a 12. So with the different facts in carbon, what they end up doing is they use a different layup with different carbon to achieve the same amount of durability and flex and everything else, which in turn makes a lighter frame. So nicer carbon on his. My wheels are the Terra CLs. I have DT Swiss 350 hubs on mine. His are the Terra CLX. They're lighter. They use better spokes, less spoke count, and they also have a DT Swiss 240 hub on it. So his wheels are lighter than my wheels. His hubs are better, and they used to come with a ceramic bearing. I'm not sure if they still come with the ceramic bearing setup, but they used to. His group on his is one level higher than mine also. So where mine is force, his is red. It still comes with the same Quark power meter, but red versus force. So the total weight savings on his bike.
Hold on. I want to know. This is because you knew I was going to get there in the question on what is his way versus yours. I want to know what a $6,000 diet, how many pounds will that get me?
It'll get you about a pound.
A whole pound. All right.
Pound.
Wow.
But also, so you know what? And this is not true for Elvis. And I'm gonna preference this right now and say this is not true for Elvis. But a lot of people don't ride S-Works bikes because they're lighter, right? It's everything else that goes along with owning an S-Works bike. So when you pull up to a parking lot and you're on an S-Works, people automatically assume, whether I said it the other day, whether they assume good or whether they assume bad, they're always going to look at your bike and they're going to assume something, right? Or they're going to want to prove something to you or whatever. If you pull up on a bike that's a non-S-Works Specialized, it could be a sick bike. It could be a really good build, but you kind of just blend into the crowd at that point, and no one's going to start to assume. But like I said, when you go to a car show and you pull up with a Ferrari, people automatically assume something. And that's kind of like the Ferrari of the cycling industry. When you pull up with an S-Works, when you pull up with a Lab 71, when you pull up with certain things like that, people automatically assume. So people tend to gravitate towards that. A lot of people want that stigma attached to their bike. and others don't. I think Elvis, it wasn't about owning an S-Works because he's owned S-Works before.
What is it about, Elvis?
I think it was a combination of two things. I had the SL6. I was using the SL6, maybe more than two things. I had the SL6. I was using the SL6 for basically gravel. We were doing gravel with the SL6.
Yeah.
And then I was already looking for a gravel bike, and I mean, honestly, I was looking for something more like on the side of use just because of the price. But I mean, the Lord sent an angel.
Yeah, let me tell you. And normally I'm not going to say prices.
Yeah.
But when I say that these bikes were given to us at such a ridiculously low price that we couldn't pass up, I mean,
yeah,
that's basically it. And,
yeah,
I didn't really need that bike at that particular time because I did have the Diverge STR that I could have continued to ride. But again, my goal with owning a bike shop is to sell bikes. So, it was a weird coincidence that bike had dropped. The price was the right price. And someone came in and actually wanted that STR that I had been trying to sell for over a year. So, opportunity came forward, and you do what you got to do at that point. So, I'm almost kicking myself for not buying the S-Works just because of the price being there. But I can tell you now that one of the things that I don't like about S-Works bikes compared to my bike is the percentage of resale value that you get out of an S-Works compared to a regular bike. So you would think that you get more money for an S-Works, but you don't. You actually don't get more money when you're trying to resell your S-Works as far as overall percentage of what you actually bought the bike for. You're not going to get 50% of your money back with an S-Works. So if that bike retails for $14,000, you ride it for 3 or 4 months. Let's just say you only rode it for 3 or 4 months. It's going to be really hard to get $7,000 for that bike. Unless you sell it to someone that knows you and this and that, and because for $7,000, that's still a lot of money to a lot of people, and they want warranties, they want everything else. I think for $7,000, I would buy a new Roubaix than a used S-Works Roubaix. That's my opinion.
Let me ask you this, Donald, since we're on the subject of prices. Do you think, I mean, I'm very fresh on Specialized. I think this is my probably 5th year riding Specialized. Has Specialized always sold the frame, like the frame set, like the S-Works or regular like frame sets? And have they always like a frame set, like let's say 5 years ago? When did the SL6 came out? Was that like 3 years ago?
No.
With the disc brake, not with the
SL6. So I took an SL6 tarmac to France with me when I went. And in 2017, I had an so let's say 2019, it came out with the disc brake version.
Okay, because the one that I have was, I believe, was 2019.
Yeah,
and I sold the frame for $1,200.
Right, and that was an S-Works frame.
That was an S-Works frame, yeah.
So now, granted, it's a 2019, so we're let's just say 4 years, realistically closer to 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. 3-year-old bike, that frame back then probably sold for $5,000.
Still.
Well, right now, if you try to buy an S-Works frame, it's $5,500.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So you're gonna take an S-Works frame, and immediately you're not gonna get $3,000 for that frame unless it's some type of limited edition or something that like someone really wants. I always say it in our industry and in every industry out there, something's only worth what people are willing to pay for. Right? It's as simple as that. So if someone wants it bad enough, then it's worth whatever that person's willing to pay for it. That doesn't
100%.
mean that it's going to sell and it's really to the public worth that amount. That's just that one guy. So if you find the right person to buy a bike, then you could probably sell it for whatever you want to sell it for. But it's finding that needle in the haystack that's not realistic. You know, we are constantly searching for that needle in the haystack, but they're just not out there. People are smart about how they buy, and it's so easy to look up what the average cost of something is, and that average cost on the used side is going further and further down, while the average cost on the new side is going further and further up. And there's that separation between the two that's hard to justify to some people.
I feel like that side of cycling, only people that is like, I'm not gonna say like, you know, doing a lot of miles throughout the year, but like only people that has been on the industry or has been like a rider for a long time will know that. Like I don't race, but I always like said I'm gonna keep the bike like 2 years, a year and a half, and then change it. But I normally was doing the frame only and keeping my components.
I did that a lot. I did that a lot also. I used to swap components and just swap frames also. I did it a lot until I got my buddy Paul to start buying my bikes. So
I was gonna say that at the beginning. Is there a line that we can get for your current bikes? Is there like a sign up or like? Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah. But you got it. It's Paul. It's like, look, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I called Paul earlier this week and said, dude, I'm feeling a certain way that I haven't been riding with my buddy. Right? Like me and Paul have been training together almost for at least the last 3 years, Paul.
True.
Right? I mean, at least the last 3 years, me and Paul.
Elvis, I have it because I'm never gonna. This message is now saved, and I saved it to the cloud, so I will never lose it.
Can we get a screenshot and we can share the screen here or no? We'll do it in another one.
Yeah.
Of the message itself?
Yeah.
It's a voice
message. I called him.
But don't worry. I'll figure out how to get it public. Don't get it.
Listen.
He asked me to come work him out. Like he was asking me.
Who's asking you to abuse him?
Listen.
Abuse is a strong word, Elvis. It's a strong word.
So
he was asking me to, like, I haven't been riding hard enough. I need you. I need the motivate. I need you to. And I took it as come beat me up. I got it. And so we're going to find out whether my Diverge is faster than his Roubaix. We're going to find that out, right? But
so we have a drinking game that I've been talking to my buddy. I actually told Frankie about the drinking game that every time I mention his name, that people have to drink, right? But I told him, he didn't believe me, by the way. He was like, no, you guys don't. I was like, trust me, dude, your name comes up enough. He goes, why does my name come up so much? And I'm like, well, dude, we rode together for the last 20 to 30 years. I mean, there's a lot of stories.
Frankie, follow the podcast.
That's right. Follow the podcast, Frankie. But anyway, listen.
Like and subscribe.
So before Paul, Frank was here, and he was my motivation to get stronger because he would try to beat up on me every chance he get. He wouldn't let me have a wheel in front of him. So I would train with Frank and I would get stronger with Frank. Frank has moved to California and now he lives in Thailand, and obviously don't get to ride with him nearly as much. And I have Paul now. Sorry, Frank, I have Paul now. So check it out. Paul is how do I say this? He's a more,
I don't even know where this is going, but I'm like,
no, it's good. So Paul is a more like calculated Frank Johnson, right? Without verbally assaulting, because Frank would curse me out every chance he got, right? So
that's not even made up, Elvis. Literally, I'm riding with the two of them, and someone says, F you, you mother, and Donald fires back, don't ever, and they're literally, I thought they were going to get in a fight. I'm like, holy God, I don't even know these two guys, and they're going to beat each other up on a ride, calling each mother a motherfucker. And I'm like, oh my God, who? And like, oh no, that's Frank, we're friends. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, we're good. He's like my older brother. You know, he's that little chihuahua with a big old bark, right? But he doesn't have any bite at all.
But anyway, back to the analysis.
So,
Dr. Lavelli's, he's more of a.
I think you're like Frank, but more calculated in how you train, right? Way more calculated. Like you analyze things, and we have like I followed your training plan to make me faster, right? It's like I don't have to train. I don't have to have a training plan. All I need to do is ride with Paul enough to use his training plan, is what I always say. If I ride with him almost every day, which we pretty much did, we rode almost every day together. If I ride with him every day and he's training to do this, that, and another, all I need to do is just follow his training plan to a certain degree. One thing that people don't know about Dr. Paul Lavelli is that he has no chill. Absolutely no chill. So whenever, like, I'll join him on a ride from my shop. We say we're meeting at the shop at 3:00, right? We're going to train from 3 to 5. We're going to do a 2-hour training ride. That's my training. Paul's training is he has to ride up from Baltimore to the shop.
Extra.
That's 52 minutes. If I pay traffic signals, it's 52 minutes.
So then he'll ride an hour before, and then we'll be at the shop, and I'm like, okay, good ride. So either he has to ride back to Baltimore, or even if he comes to the shop in his car, he still gets there. If we ride at 3, the ride's at 3, he gets there at 2 or 1:30, and he'll ride for an hour. Before I even get on my bike, he's already got an hour or so in his legs. Then we'll do our training ride, and then he'll ride for like another hour afterwards. I'm like, this dude, and
He literally goes the extra mile.
Multiple extra miles.
Sometimes I do intervals before I meet him for the ride.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think in my head, I used to think that would wear him out. Let him go ahead and do that. It'll wear him out. So when we train together, it won't be nearly as hard. But in actuality, I think that's what's causing him to be so much faster than me in the first place, is because he's putting forth that extra efforts, and it's not wearing him out. It's making him stronger. So, you know, I think again, changing the way that we think about training and how we think about training is super important for me anyway, because I've never been the kind of person that would train. I would always just ride a lot. And if I got faster, I got faster. And normally I just got fast enough, right? And what I mean by that is I could probably enter a race and do well in a race, but I would never really, like, I was never the guy that was consistently on the podium, you know? And maybe if I had a little more no chill in me, that second place would turn into a first place, or that third place would turn into a second. You never know. But the whole point of this conversation, this whole point of this rant was me missing my riding partner. He's been away for a little bit. So, you know, I'm looking forward to him coming back up to Maryland.
I'll be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You better be ready, because I have a voice message that says you want me to come train you. I got it.
So maybe,
dude, I need it.
Maybe we should plan a gravel ride together if the weather is nice, of course.
Yeah, Elvis last year.
You haven't done the Point of Rocks gravel yet? Have you been out there to Leesburg?
I haven't done that. That's the loop that you guys did the other day, right, Donald?
Yeah, that's a definite.
That's a very short. Yeah, the one that I did was
a Sunday 62 miles. I think we do usually, right?
Yeah. On average, I think the 62 miler is the longer one. I think on average we were doing like 40 something miles.
If we had a bigger group, we would do 42. Yeah, because somebody.
The other day I went out and we only did a 26 miler. It's definitely an abbreviated course. Trying to get back into it, just ease back into things. Those roads are incredible. They will make you strong, man. When we first started, it was again around this time last year, we first started riding down there. I think our 42 miler we were averaging 13 miles an hour was the fastest that I could go. And by the end of it, we had added 3 to 4 more mile an hour on top of that when we were finishing up.
16.8 we did together one time.
Yeah. So, you're looking at 16.8, 17 miles an hour average from a 13 mile an hour average. And I'm talking a 13 mile an hour average, really trying my hardest to push it. Like they were waiting on me and I had to take some breathers at the top of some hills. So, going from a 13 mile an hour to a 17 mile an hour average on the same course, you see where your fitness really jumps up. And that's what I'm hoping to get this year. I'm hoping to get back in that type of shape so I can.
I think the Roubaix will be good for that.
I think so.
Yeah. Saving the weight, helping on the rolling resistance.
There's enough
as well.
Yeah, and it's like little segments of gravel and then a little bit of road in between each of these segments. So that Roubaix is a really good bike for that course.
So Paul, last year we were training for the Appalachian Journey, and then you and I had a conversation like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that we don't have an event that we're training for, but we wanted to do some type of epic like adventure ride. April 24th through the 30th, I just bought my plane tickets, so it's 100% set in stone for me. VJ bought his plane tickets and Nick bought his plane tickets. We're flying into Phoenix, riding. We're riding one of the mountains out in Phoenix, and then we're going to go to what's the name of that spot out there that's outside of Phoenix that everybody goes to? They have a Fat Tire Festival. Dang it, I can't think of the name of it. But from there, we're going to go to Moab. From Moab, we're going to go to Fruita, Colorado. We're going to rent a big old RV, a Class C RV, and go out on an RV. So that's my adventure that I'm training for right now. But I need, I probably want to do at least another one before the end of the year in 24. So we got to think of some crazy adventure to train for, something to train for. I don't care if it's let's go out and climb this mountain. Let's go here to do that. But I want to do something that's maybe not a race, but something that really challenges my fitness. Not quite like Jeremiah and those guys that do, that's that type of thing. I don't want it to be life-threatening.
What do you guys think about doing the a multi-day on the CNO Canal, starting at Pittsburgh, maybe?
Yeah, we've talked about that multiple times, huh, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's definitely on the list. I would like to do the Virginia Rockstar route, which is you can be doing in a couple days, multiple days. But they do, if you look at the Facebook site called the Virginia Endurance Series, they have a couple different like multi-day races that they do. There's one from DC to Roanoke where they start out on the CNO and then they go through the Shenandoah National Park. It's really neat stuff. It's kind of modeled on the Great Divide race.
Okay.
A little bit shorter, but there's segments certainly down near Harrisonburg and where Jeremiah lives down there. And
that's a lot. That's definitely challenging.
It's good gravel, real good gravel. That's where
it sounds like it's more like elevation too, though, right?
There's some elevation, definitely up and down. Anywhere, people, they always talk about the race across America. They're like, oh, you guys had to climb over the Rockies. And everybody who does that race says, it wasn't the Rockies that killed me. It was the Appalachian Mountains because they go up faster. They're way steeper than the Rockies. Shorter, but way steeper. Yeah, Rockstar gravel, fastest known time. I think the fastest. Yeah.
That's crazy.
28.
What is?
Jeez,
look at
20.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you get up there in elevation, so those are pictures from it, huh?
Right.
Not when that's not the fastest known time fixtures, but yeah, you can get up high enough where there's still snow up there, but it's where Stokesville is. It's where the Jeremiah's Loop is. That's all part of those segments down there. But that's a great multi-dayer, some backcountry adventure stuff going on there. You could pull it off with the Roubaix, but we could pull it off too. You know,
but 28,000, that's a lot.
Going up.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We have Delvin. It sounds like Tim Joseph. He curses me out on every rail.
Dude, that's when you know, but that's when you know someone really cares. If you allow someone to curse you out after the first time and you guys haven't beaten each other up and it continues over 30 years, that's when you know you really care about someone, because you're willing to put up with that kind of thing. It's kind of one of those, I guess me and him had a kind of an abusive relationship, but it wasn't his fault. It was my fault. So I'm that battered wife in our relationship, I guess. he's definitely the one that starts it. He's definitely the one that pushes the buttons until I get there. But that's what he does. He pushes buttons. Everyone knows that.
So, what do you got coming up?
I'm trying to think. I'm mad that I can't think of Sedona Fat Tire Festival is what I was trying to get at. So we're flying into Phoenix. We're going to ride. There's this trail around the mountain up there in Phoenix. That's pretty cool. Goes up to a waterfall. We're going to hit that the first day. Second day, we're going to go over to Sedona. We're going to ride Sedona. Third day, we're heading down to Moab. We're going to ride Moab. And then we're going to go up to Fruita, Colorado and ride Horse Thief Bench, which is my favorite trail of all times. Not too far from where I proposed to my wife. Really, really cool riding out there. Definitely.
That's the one you guys are. That's the one you were talking about today.
I'm gonna. Obviously, so funny that me and Paul kind of came up with the idea, and I haven't really been talking to Paul too much. He's been taking care of business. But I started planning it with other people, and so hopefully, Paul, you can get on it, because it would be an incredible trip with us.
Moab is on my bucket list. That is on my bucket list.
You know what though? I Moab should be on everyone's bucket list, but I honestly feel like, and I honestly feel like once you ride Moab, you're good with Moab. Like you don't have to go back to Moab. Once you ride it once, you're like, okay, I got it. It's cool. I get it. It's fun, but I feel like there's other trails like I said, Horse Thief Bench is that trail that whenever you're in the area, you're going to ride it. You want to keep going back to it because it never gets old. It's not even a long trail. I want to say it might be 8 or 9 miles, but man, is it beautiful.
Yeah. What elevation will we be at in some of those? We're going to be up there.
I think the lowest that we're going to be is probably 4,000 feet. I mean, that's maybe Phoenix. It's not sea level, and I will feel it. So if we're lucky enough to get up to the top of the LaSalle Mountains and do the whole enchilada, I suffered when we got up there. I want to say that was like 8,000 feet, maybe 9,000 feet.
That's 4,000 feet above sea level.
And where is
high?
That's
no.
That's
Moab. Remember, that's Moab, and that's starting. That's at the base of Moab. That's like at the Colorado River at Moab. Moab only goes upward.
Yeah.
It doesn't like you're at 4,000 feet is where you're starting off. Grand Junction, Colorado, like when you fly into Denver, they call it the mile high for a reason, right? Like you're already at elevation when you fly in, and you haven't hit any of the mountains yet. You're just at the base of the mountains is at 4,000 feet. So as you start to climb up, there's peaks in Colorado, man, that are 13, 14,000 feet peaks that will make you feel like you're breathing through a straw. Definitely. I don't care how good of an athlete you are. If you're not used to elevation, it will destroy you.
Does everybody here have an Epic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So doing epic things with our epic bikes.
Elvis, are you not in? Is this a problem for you? Because your Epic is better than everybody else's. Is that what you're worried about?
I don't know. I don't have dates.
I will.
April 24th to April 30th.
one thing that I will do on this and stay true to it, as I will call out bull crap. Elvis, you are on our Black and Tan chat on WhatsApp. We have posted the dates on that. Times.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
Facts.
He cleared his throat before he talked.
Right.
You got to check with the boss. How many days? 4 days?
Right now, we're already talking about a large number of a bike that might be new that we may or may not pay. But anyway, I'm thinking if anybody he knows is watching this podcast, he might be on the couch somewhere tonight, but it could be, who knows.
Remember how we talk about that kitchen that you have in the shop, Donald? That if I ever need it, I can always
look for a very brief time. Like, I will allow someone to actually crash the shop if I cause them any kind of marital problems. Right? But
can we be clear? You have caused marital problems, whether you know it or not. By the nature of your business, you have caused marital
guaranteed. So I started working in shops since when I was basically 14 to now. I can guarantee you that I may have even caused a divorce or two.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen.
Not purposely. I apologize to those people right now. If me selling you a bike, actually,
I really hope that bike came with SRAM components and not Shimano, because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Someone had to say it.
Yeah. So
listen, if any attorney ever calls you and says, "Hey, I'm just checking on a case. What's this bike worth?" Do not tell that attorney what the bike is worth. Do not tell them.
You cannot tell. I already know that.
Please remember, what do you think the guy told his wife he paid for that bike? And that's the answer.
Didn't you hear me say, Paul, that I said that this bike that we just got was cheaper than the one we sold?
I 100%.
Yes. So, all right. So let me take that back. Maybe I wasn't the cause of the divorce.
Listen, the
Shimano.
The junkies keep coming to the drug dealer. My friend.
That's right. That's right. And this sport is addictive as I don't know what.
Someone said they gave it to me.
If you're Italian, you could say it fell off the truck. I don't know, but
it fell off the truck. I don't know. But man. So I think that's going to be an epic trip. I think it's going to be the first epic trip of the year.
What's VJ? What bike is VJ bringing? I want to know. How much is that going to weigh?
So VJ doesn't. I don't even know if he has a bike. So VJ.
Let me send VJ this invite.
Yeah.
So VJ is a friend of ours who can't ride a normal bike. Everything that he rides is custom built, mostly out of steel, and weighs, without exaggeration, 50 plus pounds. His gravel bike, we weighed his gravel bike. It weighed 33 pounds for a gravel bike. That's way too heavy. The crazy part about VJ is he's not this masculinely strong, big guy you would think that could push these bikes. He's VJ, right? He's a skinny guy. Doesn't look like he's that strong, but the dude is strong as hell. And he races on these bikes that are crazy heavy and does well. He actually was going to compete he went to nationals mountain biking. He Yeah, that's it's great. See, this is why I'm glad we have Elvis.
Elvis is in the building, man.
No, Elvis is in the building.
It's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Listen, he could pay $15,000 for a bike, and I'm still not jealous right now. That's because he's so good, right? He's so good.
Yeah. So that's VJ right there. So VJ is gonna have to find a bike, I think, before we go on this trip. His last bike was on the back of his car, and his car got hit by. He didn't hit the deer hit the car and took the bike off the back of the rack, like destroyed it to the point where it
broke the bamboo fork.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, that's another thing. VJ can't ride normal stuff. He rides bamboo bikes. He rides steel bikes forged in the mines out of Colorado by this guy.
That bike is 33 pounds, Elvis.
That bike is 33 pounds. That
fork can fit on your Epic or on your tarmac. It'll go well.
That bike, he named that bike the Baltimore Bullet. That's funny because that pink bike right there is actually a bike that he built himself. So talented, smart kid, really smart. I call him a kid. He's not a kid. He's a full grown adult now. But when I met him, he was a kid. That's the kind of stuff that he rides, and he'll ride that bike while we're all on our tarmacs, and he does no problem. He'll keep up, not a problem. But yeah, so adventures coming forward, guys.
All right, let's try to wrap it up. You got something coming up though in a couple of weeks. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we are doing an event at the shop at Patapsco Bicycles in Elkridge. What we're going to do is we have a park. I'm assuming that we have an audience that's further away from us that haven't ridden Patapsco yet. Our shop is named after a really nice park here in Baltimore, right outside of Baltimore County, called Patapsco. And from this park that we have, we've had so many super fast people. Just the parks develop these fast people for some reason. It's to me, it's weird because we're not that big of a park to have as many national champions as we do. We have a lot of national champions. We have people that have broken world records. We have people that have, it's just weird how fast some of the mountain bikers are. So we have Jeremiah Bishop, who's come out of the park, kind of grew up riding Patapsco. We have Chris Etaw, who actually came in and started riding Patapsco when he was riding for Trek East Coast Factory. And these people, we're going to have those two people on a stage answering Q&A questions. We're going to the event's called the celebration of Patapsco State Park Celebration of Speed, and we're going to have as many of the past and present national champions in attendance, along with everybody else. We're gonna be doing our live Black and Tan live while they're asking the questions, the Q&As, and right afterwards we're going to show a documentary that Jeremiah was in called Off Road to Athens. And it documents Jeremiah's trying to get to the Olympics one year. And it's pretty cool. So that's going to be on the 27th is when that's January 27th in our Elkridge location. It's going to, like I said, it's called Patapsco Celebration of Speed. We haven't even, that was the first time, that was a sneak peek of the flyer.
Yeah.
We'll have
that. Still working on it.
Yeah. We'll have that out to people and inviting people and letting them come out. Like I said, it's just a way to celebrate the people that have put in some hard work in the park and achieve some great things.
This is great though, because I think I found out through you that Jeremiah Bishop was from the area. I had no idea that he was from here. It was like, what?
So, I'm lucky to have a lot of longevity in this industry and in this around this area, being in this area. And I've seen some incredible riders come and go. Like I said, it's crazy to think that there's a guy named Dave Duvall who was a local guy. Man, he did it for the big dudes, man. This guy was unreal strength, like crazy strength. A lot of people don't know about him. I'm hoping that he can make it out just to say what's up. Jeremiah was out here. Chris was out here. We have Chris Beck. That's not too far from here. I don't know how many national championships Chris Beck has won, but geez, the dude's fast. I think we came up with a list of about between 15 and 20 people in our little park that have been national champions, which, like I said, I still find that amazing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it up. But we'll see you guys on the 27th of January. Do you have a time yet for that, Don? Or we're still working on that?
Yeah. We have all the times are basically out. We're gonna. I had it on that Black and Tan list, basically the rundown of when we were going to start everything. But we will have the complete flyer done and out tomorrow. So people will definitely be getting the invite to the event on the 27th tomorrow.
Elvis, thank you for being in the building. It's always better when you're here. Just so clear.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
He brings content. He brings it onto the screen, and
he's the only one. He's the only one really in uniform right now. Like, there's a lot going on that he brings to the table.
He brings so much to the table.
Thanks, guys.
We're gonna get fitted shirts too. Though.
Yeah. Well, I need to get a fitted Patapsco shirt. Then it'll be right.
Those are coming out. We need to reach out to Rob so he can get us those kind of shirts.
That's right. Cool, guys.
Peace and love, Black and Tan family. Peace and love.
Hey, guys, please subscribe to our channel. Our numbers are going up, but we need them up even more. Again, we're doing our Black and Tan channel is for charity. What we're trying to do is any proceeds that we get from Black and Tan are going to be fed right back into the youth cycling in our area. So subscribe so we can get monetized and we can actually get paid for whatever we're doing. It's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be something, and we're going to give that right back to the cycling community. So subscribe for us, guys, please.
Yeah, I put both channels at the bottom of the video so you guys can go and subscribe. We have a few people watching on Instagram, so make sure you follow the screen and and go subscribe to our channels. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching today, Black and Tan and DMV MTB.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.